Anna. Thank you so much for stopping by today and spending a little bit of time with me as I chat about my recent reads. I'm going to be incorporating books here on my channel. I'm going to be sharing with you today all the books that I've read from October up until now, but it's mostly books that I have completed in January. I did make a goal for myself to read about 30 books this year, and I thought it'd be fun to document that as well on my channel and just talk about the books that I have been reading in case you guys are interested and want to find recommendations, because I know when I am looking for book recommendations, I go right to Booktube here on YouTube and I go ahead and see what's out there. So I thought I'd just incorporate that in my channel. In my last podcast, I stated to you that I am no longer the Blissful Stitch. Bear with me as I try to figure out what my YouTube name or YouTube channel is, the name is going to be, because I'm going to be incorporating everything on my channel. It's going to be my knitting, my crochet, any type of sewing that I do, any soap making that I do, which that's a big goal for me this year. I did not forget about my soap making. And also now my reading. So I need to find a name that's going to kind of incorporate all of that. But on my Instagram, which is _x.TIINA_, I'll leave it right here for you if you want to follow me. I am pretty active on there, mostly through my stories. I post about once a week, and yeah, if you want to hang out with me over there, I'd love to connect with you. We could talk about books or whatever it is that you want to talk about. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, most of the books I'm going to show you are for my January TBR, which is to be read. I don't know if I stated that yet. So I'll save those for last. And I did read 2 books from October up until December. One took me a while because it was a bigger book. But the other one I did fly by, and just with the holidays, I didn't have much reading time then. But I'll go ahead and start with the first one that I read in October. October is spooky vibes. We already know this. So I wanted to read kind of like a horror-ish type of book. I feel like that's like a horror, thriller, and things like that. I don't know if it's just a morbid personality, but I like those type of books. I like to be spooked. I like to be scared. I like to be in suspense. So anywho, the book that I read was There's Someone in Your House, and this is from Stephanie Perkins. This book is like a straight up 90s slasher film. Like if you know, I Don't Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream or things like that, this is exactly what this book reminded me of. It's following a girl named Makani Young. She is in Nebraska, I believe. Yes, in Nebraska. And there is a killer that's in her town. It's based like in high school life, high school students. So there are murders going on in her town, and she believes that it could be surrounding her, as she has kind of a secret that she's holding about her past. But she thinks that these murders are kind of surrounding her, and just the way that, you know, it's detailed, just the way that it is, I'm telling you, it's a 90s slasher film in a book. Really, really not interesting, but really, really fun to read. I was definitely scared at some points at night. I would have to like look under my bed or look out my window, or like I did get spooky vibes from this for sure. But yeah, this was really, really cool. Again, 90s slasher film in a book. If you guys are interested in something like that. The story was pretty cool. It brings me back to like just teenage years, because it was based like in high school life, high school students. So it brings you back to that younger mentality, which is fun to escape to. But at the same time, reading a book like this, maybe in an adult setting, probably I would have maybe enjoyed it a little bit more. I did rate this maybe like a 3.75 out of 5. But it was good. It was entertaining, to say the least. Okay, so the next book that I want to share with you, I picked up after There's Someone Inside Your House, being that we were still in spooky season, and I wanted to challenge myself. I figured I'd pick up Dracula. This is a classic. This is by Bram Stoker from 1860. The literature in this book is so beautiful. The writing style is so different than modern writing. I find that with older literature like this, they get so much more immersed in detail, they can spend 2 pages like writing details on a specific item. You know what I mean? Like it's just so different than modern writing. I absolutely love it. I'm not even gonna say if you, because I think everybody has heard of Dracula, correct? Am I right? Yes. I love vampire. I love vampire folklore. It's like my favorite mythological creature, or just folklore stuff. It's the vampires. I always go for those. But yes, this follows Jonathan Harker and Mina. Jonathan Harker is a like a real estate possession person. I don't know how to describe his occupation, but he deals with like real estate. So he gets called over to Dracula's castle because Dracula is planning to move over to London to do his, biddings and business over there. He winds up taking Jonathan Harker as a prisoner, and he keeps him in his castle. He doesn't think that he's gonna be able to leave, but he winds up being able to escape somehow while Dracula is in London. Then it starts to follow Mina and her friend Lucy. Lucy gets this mysterious injury, and with Dr. Van Helsing, he's also in this. Dr. Van Helsing, they come to the conclusion that she was bitten by a vampire. So then towards, the middle to the end of the book, it's about Lucy's sickness. It deals with her illness, the progression of it, finding out that it's Dracula, and then trying to go and kill Dracula. So I know that you're very aware of the story of Dracula. I mean, all vampires kind of originate to this, but this actually, if you did not know, is not the first vampire book in history. There is a vampire book that came out before this, and this was written in 1860. I did watch the movie in the middle of reading this book. So when I got halfway, I did pick up the movie. I think it was like 1992. I don't remember the producer. Was it Wes Craven? I don't remember, but Keanu Reeves plays Jonathan Harker. Winona Ryder plays Mina, and Anthony Hopkins plays Dr. Van Helsing, and Michael Goldblum, I believe that's his name, Goldblum, he plays Dracula. This book is also written in journal entries. I forget the name that booktubers use for that, or the correct term for that being written in journal style. But it was just beautiful. And as I read, I'm a reader who likes to read kind of out loud to myself, whether it be in like a whisper or, out loud if I'm alone. But I love to read in the accents of what I think the characters would sound like. I'm actually pretty good at it, and it makes me kind of interested in narrating audiobooks, like I think about that too, because I love to read out to myself and to read it in different accents. But yeah, this was definitely a challenge. It is a hunky book, but I loved every moment of reading this, and I'm so glad that I have a classic in my library, and it be Dracula of all, because I love vampire stuff. Okay, so my next read, this is going to be all from my January TBR. I only have 4 books. I wanted to read about 5 books this month. I'm currently in the middle of my 5th, but I did read 4 so far. So the first one that I read, which is another accomplishment for me, I definitely want to get into more Stephen King novels and reading his more, older vintage stories. So this is Dolores Claiborne. This follows a woman who gets accused of killing her the woman being Dolores Claiborne, she gets accused of killing her husband. And she's also, you know, accused of killing the caretaker that she worked for, the woman that she took for, if that makes sense. But it all happens, the death of her husband is surrounding the night of an eclipse. So this is really just her confessional at the police department as they're questioning her as to, you know, the murder of the person that she took care of, and also the murder of her husband. She just like spills her guts in all of this. And this was an awesome read. This, I also read, it seemed like it was more of a down, it takes place in Maine, but it seemed like a more like down south type of accent that she was talking in. So I read it, the whole book, in that type of accent. But this book was super good. I loved it. I ate it up. I read this in about a week's time, maybe a week and a half, but I think like a week's time. Super good. Again, she's just spilling her guts in a confession about these murders, showing what led her to that. And at the end of the day, this really shows like what you do out of love, like what you do when you love a family member, when you what you basically do for love. And this book did a great job portraying that. Dolores Claiborne is just a badass bitch. Like this was a great book. Loved it. I'm glad that I have a Stephen King under my belt. And yeah, it was a great book. Oh, also, at the end of reading this, I saw the movie Dolores Claiborne. That was a 1993 film or 1995. I'm not sure. Early 90s. And Kathy Bates plays Dolores Claiborne, and she did a wonderful, wonderful job. It is different from the book in the fact that in the movie, it's more of her living her life. You see her living her life and having flashbacks and telling the story through flashbacks. Whereas the book is, she is in a police department and she's just confessing. Also, this book has no chapters. It's just a straight confession through the whole book. No chapters, just a straight beginning to end, her confession of those murders and what she's accused of, why she did it, the life that she led. She had such a hard life, this poor woman. But the one quote that I love from this book is her caretaker, the person that she took care of. I keep saying her caretaker, but the person that she took care of said this one line to her that I'm like, wow. But she said, you know, sometimes being a bitch is the only thing a woman has to hold on to. And that just stuck on to me. Like, that was like the highlight of this book, when she's having that conversation and that woman says that to her, especially with what she was going through in that time. But yeah, Dolores Claiborne, Stephen King, great book. The next book that I completed, oh my gosh. You guys. This book, The Kiss Potions, did everything for me. After reading those horror novels, after reading Dolores Claiborne, I needed something light. I needed something fuzzy. I needed something steamy. I needed something kind. I needed something sweet. I needed it to be romance and just sweep me off my feet while reading a book. And this book delivered like nobody's business. This was just such the sweetest story. And oh, I just can't get enough of this book. I will definitely read this book again because it gave me all of the feels, like all of the feels. But this book follows Stella and Michael. Stella is an ecnometrician and she is autistic. And basically her family is kind of pushing her to finally find a man, to connect with somebody. Her mom wants grandbabies, so you already know that route. When once parents get started, they're pushy about it. So she wants to make her parents happy, but it's hard for her to connect with people. She has her routines, and being autistic, I don't know what it is to be autistic, but I do know that it's difficult for them to connect. I don't know the ins and outs, forgive me, of autism. I wish I did, but I can just go by what I know from her in the book. And it was just very, very hard for her to connect with people. And she winds up hiring, putting herself on a mission. She winds up hiring Michael, who is a male escort. And she hires him because she wants him to teach her how to be with somebody intimately, how to kiss, how to have sex, how to just connect as boyfriend and girlfriend. That is why she hires him. So in this story, you follow their relationship. You follow how it starts from beginning to end, how it progresses, the feelings involved. You get to see as to why Michael resorts to escorting for a job. And oh, the steaminess in this book. The steaminess was everything, and it was great. This is such a great book if you need a light read, a night little romance book. Oh, it was beautiful. Loved it so much. I don't even know how to say as much as I should about a book in a video, because I don't want to spoil it all for you, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I don't know how far I should go into the book. But anywho, my next read, I finally finished The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I started this back in November, and then I put it down once I was halfway, and I just didn't get back to it. So I definitely put it on my January TBR to finish. It is a children's book, a children's chapter book, or a teenage chapter book. Very, very cool. This book follows a little boy whose family is murdered in the beginning of the book, and he winds up escaping as a toddler. And he winds up finding himself, or the ghosts of the cemetery find himself in the graveyard. And the ghosts wind up raising him in the graveyard. He lives his life in the graveyard. His guardian winds up being a vampire who really kind of just takes care of him and shows him the way. But his parents, who accepted him as a son, are ghosts. So you follow this boy as he goes on his little adventures. But as he gets to about 14 years old, he is questioning as to what happened to, his parents, what really happened, how did he wind up in a graveyard, and all that jazz behind his story. And so the second half of the book, you're following him as he is trying to live a normal boy life, and also find the person who killed his parents. In the book, the person that's in charge of killing him is Jack, and you later find out that he's part of this old ancient society called the Jack of all trades. And it's multiple Jacks that are trying to find him and kill him, because the boy is called Nobody Owens, by the way, but they call him Bod for short. And Nobody Owens winds up being somebody that is an enemy to their society. So that is why they are hunting this little boy down and want to kill this little boy. Yeah, so you see the story as all these Jacks are trying to get him, but it's just such a great little children's story. It deals, werewolves, vampires, ghosts, it's all in here, and it was a really fun read, a very light read as well, but also spooky. It has some illustrations in the book. You can see here just different illustrations. It was fun to read this book. I'll probably read it to my kids, read it for them, which was nice. Just, different little illustrations in the book. So yeah, so this was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. So the next book that I completed this month, which is also a part of my TBR and also the final book that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, it is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And this book, I got a lot out of this book. This book is definitely what it is, a wisdom book. It shows you the different personalities of people, how you shouldn't be taking things personally, how you should be doing your best. Those are part of the Four Agreements. I won't say all of them, but I did definitely take a lot out of this book. It helped me to really understand how people think and how people go about situations in their life, and how you can really be your worst enemy but your best picker-upper. You have the ability to change your mindset about people, change your mindset about the perceptions of people, their personalities. The one chapter that really stuck out to me was the do not take anything personal, because I think as a human being, you just tend to take things personally from other people. Especially if it's about you, or you know, somebody comes at you, you typically will take it in a personal way. But after reading this book, I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore, because it doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It has to deal with that person who wanted to say something about you, or you feel some type of way that they reacted to. Whatever it is, don't take anything personally. That is the one chapter in this book where I was like, wow. Just a couple of things didn't align with my faith, but I guess within truth, I like tweaked it. Okay, like my faith would consider this and that, if that makes sense. But otherwise, this was a great book. I do recommend it to anybody that's on a self-improvement journey, really just wants to better themselves from the inside. I recommend this book for sure. It is a short read. I read this in 2 days, a 2-day sitting. I finished this. Again, The Four Agreements, very good. It is a wisdom book, like it says right here. And I did get quite a few things out of this. The next book that I am reading, but it is on my Kindle, is Atomic Habits. That's another self-improvement book that I saw high reviews on, and it was recommended quite a bit on Booktube. But that book just deals with your habits. What are your bad habits? What are your good habits? How you can form your good habits, how you can take away those bad habits, what goes into your mind when it comes to making a habit, what causes you to do bad habits. Like, it's all about your habits. And I am enjoying it so much. I am about halfway through. I think I'm a little less than halfway through. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it before February. February is on Monday, which is just a couple of days away. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it, but I do hope I can get a big chunk in. I do have a free weekend to myself, so hopefully I can just sit and binge read it. But it is great. It's helping me to realize why I do the things that I do, and not even realizing that what I do is habit and ritual, and the things that I need to work on, the things that I need to eliminate, and just I need to adapt it into good habits. And that's really what I want to do this year. That's why I actually picked up that book to start my year with, because there are bad habits that I want to eliminate, and they're all good. And I also have good habits that I want to incorporate in my life, as does everybody, I'm sure. So Atomic Habits, I believe that's by James Clear, if I'm not mistaken. I'll post a photo of it over here. But yes, so that is my books that I have read so far from October up until now, mostly my January TBR. I hope you guys don't mind me sharing my books with you, and just bear with me, because I am so, I've never done book videos before, so I don't know what is too much when it comes to describing a book. I don't know what's too little. Do you guys have any suggestions? Do you want to hear more in detail about the books? Let me know how I did. There you go. I take any type of criticism well. So just let me know how I did in a video like this. Should I go into more summary of the book? Did I describe the books okay? Just give me some feedback. I would love some feedback. And yeah, so I will see you guys next month with my February TBR, what I would like to be reading. I guess maybe a progress video and an end of the month wrap up video. I don't know how many book videos I'm going to do, but I thought I would like to incorporate that in my channel thus far. So thank you guys for sticking through this video. I wish you guys a wonderful day. Please subscribe. And again, let me know how I did, okay? Be completely honest and let me know if there's other type of book videos that you would like or anything of that. Just let me know. Communicate with me. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.